Perfect for you." As I sat down at the seat she showed me, she laughed with a high-pitched, witch-like, nasty voice. The table at the designated seat was wooden and blackened with mold, accompanied by a rusty folding chair. Moreover, there were several corner shop trash bags and bundles of old magazines around, making it look almost like a trash dump. She still seemed to think I was poor. I finally understood why she insisted on me coming to the reunion. She intended to catch me off guard, summon me to the reunion, and mock me as a poor man like in the old days. Regret always comes too late. With just those words, I decided to leave the venue. She would never have imagined that the greatest misfortune and despair of her life would soon befall her. My name is Chris Smith. I'm 45 and single. My job is busy but enjoyable, and I earn a decent salary, living a fulfilling life. When I was 5, I lost my father to illness and grew up in a single-parent household, leading a very poor life. I couldn't buy clothes satisfactorily, and I wore shoes until they were completely worn out. Even my school bag when I entered elementary school was a hand-me-down from someone else. Despite that, my classmates were always kind to me and never made fun of me. This friendship continued and changed through middle school. I even thought these fun days would last forever. However, while my friends naturally advanced to high school, I chose to get a job. My mother fell ill and could no longer work. She insisted I continue my education, but I stubbornly refused and stepped into the working world ahead of everyone else. After graduation, I started working at a local factory sorting parts. I then switched jobs several times, leading to where I am now. My mother passed away when I was 20, leaving me without any family. Just when I was beginning to think that living as a confirmed bachelor wasn't so bad, something happened. One day, I got a call on my cell phone. It was from my middle school friend, Tom Thomas. "Chris, long time no see. How have you been?" Hearing the familiar voice of an old friend made me smile. "Oh, it's been a while. The last time we met was at your wedding, right?" "Yeah, that's right. Thanks for coming back then. How's work? Going well?" "Well, it's so-so." Talking with my old friend brought back memories, making me feel like I had time traveled back to our middle school days for a moment. "So, what's up today?" "Actually, we're having a class reunion next month. I'm the organizer. You're coming, right?" "I'm not sure." As I talked with Tom, I recalled a very gloomy and painful event. "What's wrong? Is it about Maria Johnson?" "Yeah. Johnson was a classmate who persistently bullied me. She was the daughter of the owner of Johnson Industries, the largest company in the area, and came from a very wealthy family. To someone like her, I, a person who perfectly embodied poverty, must have seemed like an ideal target. She made fun of my appearance, my belongings, my clothes, and sometimes even my mother. One incident happened in our classroom one day. "Everyone look, Chris's pencil case is made of cloth. Where do you even buy such an old-fashioned thing? Unbelievable." "Give it back. This is a keepsake from my father." "Oh, really? Can't even get a new pencil case?" "Chris, your mom must not care about you. If she were my mom, she wouldn't let her kid carry such a dirty thing. Maybe she doesn't love you much." Johnson's words made the surrounding girls burst into laughter. I couldn't say anything, just bit my lip. Then she went a step further, tossing my pencil case into the trash. "My dad says poor people are proof of lack of effort. Chris's mom probably doesn't try hard enough either. That kind of thing gets passed down to kids too." No one knew better than me how hard my mother worked. Furious at her for insulting my mother, I raised my fist. "Stop it, Chris. If you fight back, you'll play right into her hands." Tom stepped in just in time to stop me. Johnson's parents were influential in the PTA and had connections with the school board. Tom knew that if I messed up here, it would only make things worse for me. Frustrated, I had no choice but to lower my fist and put it back in my pocket. Seeing that I wouldn't retaliate, she only became more arrogant, and I remained her target until graduation. Fortunately, besides Johnson and her clique, everyone else treated me normally as a friend, which was my only solace. Bad memories rushed through my mind, and a silence fell between Tom and me for a while. I heard a rumor that Johnson went abroad for studies a little while ago, so she probably won't attend. I can't be sure without confirming, but just come. You want to see everyone, right? Tom's words made my chest tighten. As much as I looked forward to seeing old friends, I honestly didn't want to face someone with whom I had unresolved issues. Sorry, but I need a little more time to think about it. Got it. I won't push you, but I hope you give a positive answer. Thanks for inviting me, Tom. I thanked him and hung up the phone. My desire to see old friends and my reluctance to face Johnson were at odds, making it hard to decide. One day, while returning from an outing, I decided to take a break at a cafe along the street, drenched in sweat from walking in the 86-degree heat. I sat down and ordered an iced coffee. As I waited, someone sitting in front of me spoke up. Chris. It was none other than Maria Johnson, someone I could never forget. I froze for a moment and quickly looked away from her. Memories of her various torments flooded my mind, bringing up indescribable feelings. Oh, long time no see. What a coincidence. I managed to force out the words, and Johnson suddenly greeted to me. I'm really sorry for what I did back then. I truly regret it. I was taken aback by her sudden apology. I never expected to be apologized to after 30 years, especially in a place like this. I did terrible things to you. I've always wanted to apologize but didn't have the courage. I heard there's a reunion coming up. I was worried that you might not attend because of me. Tears welled up in Johnson's eyes. She genuinely seemed to feel remorseful. I was studying abroad in America until recently. I did volunteer work there and had many experiences. It made me think of you. Me. Yes. I suddenly realized how wrong I was and felt ashamed. Even if you don't forgive me, I had to apologize, so I came back. I couldn't believe she came back just to apologize to me. With her going to such lengths, I couldn't stay angry. It's okay. It was 30 years ago. When I said that, Johnson's face lit up. Really, you'll forgive me? Yes. If you apologize sincerely, I won't hold a grudge. Thank goodness, Chris. You're so kind. How could I have been so horrible to someone like you? As Johnson spoke, she used exaggerated gestures, like a stage actress, which made me smile a little. It's really a coincidence, isn't it, Chris? Do you live around here? No, I just stopped by for work. I see. I still live at my parents' house. I then realized that we were near my hometown. I hadn't been back in a while, so I didn't think about it much. Oh, I have to go. You have to come to the reunion. I'm looking forward to it. Sure, see you then, Johnson said and left the shop. Despite getting older, she no longer had the venomous air she once had, and she seemed genuinely kind. People really do change. I muttered to myself and immediately contacted Tom to confirm my attendance at the reunion. And then the day of the reunion arrived. I met Tom at the station, and we headed to the venue. Shouldn't you get there early since you're the organizer? It's fine. I asked the others to handle the preparations because I wanted to talk to you. Tom and I walked, reminiscing about various memories. Among them, I told him about my encounter with Johnson. I can't believe Johnson said that. A lot happened, but I've decided to let it all go, so let's enjoy today. But as soon as we arrived at the venue, Tom looked puzzled. That's odd. The decorations are different from what we planned. The venue was adorned with flashy pink tablecloths, numerous wreaths reminiscent of a store opening event, and large teddy bear figurines. The decorations were entirely out of place in the chic hotel setting. It has a rather unique atmosphere, doesn't it? Tom immediately confronted another organizer, demanding an explanation. Then, one of the organizers, Richard Miller, spoke up. Actually, Johnson suddenly insisted on doing the decorations as an organizer. She said she'd pay for everything, so we let her handle it. I never expected it to turn out like this, but since she did it, we can't really complain. Richard, with a forced smile, tried his best to defend Johnson. I remembered that Johnson was the daughter of the president of Johnson Industries, the largest company in the area, and that Richard worked for a subcontractor of Johnson Industries. Feeling uneasy, I exchanged glances with Tom. Then, a loud voice came from the back of the venue. "Chris, I've been waiting for you. I reserved a special seat just for you. Come on over." Already having started drinking, Johnson appeared with a flushed face. Unlike the last time, she had a nasty look and the same mean eyes she had in middle school. A few classmates around her gave me awkward smiles. The seat was prepared in the farthest corner of the venue. "Come on, sit down without hesitation. It's fancier than the table at your poor house, isn't it?" Johnson laughed loudly, and a few people forced polite laughs to follow. "Perfect for you." As I sat down at the designated seat, she laughed with a high-pitched, nasty voice like a witch. The table at the seat was wooden and black with mold, accompanied by a rusty folding chair. Additionally, there were several corner shop trash bags and bundles of old magazines around, making it look almost like a trash dump. "This is perfect for a poor guy like you. I'm so glad I insisted you come. Oh, this is hilarious." She still seemed to think I was poor. I finally understood why she insisted on me coming to the reunion. She wanted to catch me off guard, summon me to the reunion, and mock me as a poor man like in the old days. I held back the laughter welling up inside as I thought about how to surprise her. An idea came to mind. Regret always comes too late. With just those words, I decided to leave the venue. She had no idea that the greatest misfortune and despair of her life was about to come. I told the stunned Tom that I was leaving and headed for the exit. Tom was outraged by Johnson's actions and words, but as an organizer, he couldn't just walk out. "How did it come to this?" "I'm sorry, Chris. It's my fault for not being more thorough. Don't let her bother you. Let's enjoy ourselves. You came all this way." I appreciated Tom's words, but I couldn't stay. I was disgusted with myself for not doubting her apology from the start, and all I wanted was to leave. "It's not your fault. Don't worry about it." Still, Johnson Industries' influence is huge. From the reactions around her, I sensed that many of our classmates had stayed in town and were benefiting from Johnson Industries. Defying the president's daughter would threaten their livelihoods. No one could speak out against her due to this concern. That was the kind of influence the company had. As I was talking to Tom, Johnson raised her voice so I could hear. "Poor people are really pathetic. Don't you all agree?" I no longer recognized her voice as anything but noise and watched with cold eyes from a distance. Soon I'll bring her down from her pedestal. That thought raced through my mind. "Tom, sorry, but I just remembered I have work to do. See you later." "Working on a Sunday, that's tough. Take care on your way home." I parted ways with Tom and immediately took a taxi back to the office. The taxi fare was $100, but I didn't have the energy to take the train home. Alone in the empty office, I got to work. I had an important business meeting worth $10 million the next day, so I needed to prepare. As I reviewed the documents, I couldn't help but feel excited about tomorrow. The next day, I headed to the meeting. Usually, the sales rep would go, but I decided to handle it myself. I arrived at Johnson Industries, my destination. When I gave my name at the reception, I was greeted with a broad smile by the president, Daniel Johnson. "Well, President Chris, it's an honor to have you here for the meeting. I'd like to get straight to the point, so let's get started." Daniel looked puzzled by my curt response. He must have wondered why I was so cold, especially for a $10 million deal. Once in the president's office, I immediately said, "The deal is off." "What?" He looked extremely flustered by my sudden proposal. Of course he would be. Even for Johnson Industries, a $10 million deal isn't something to give up easily. What on earth is going on? Why the sudden change? I'm sorry, but we found a company with better terms than yours. We decided to go with them. Wait a minute. You can't just drop this on us out of the blue. Canceling a contract like this is completely unreasonable. Just as I expected, Daniel was quick-tempered. He was known for kowtowing to those above him, but being rude to employees and subcontractors. There were even rumors that if things didn't go his way, he'd use any means to get what he wanted. Your company is well rooted in this area. I'm sure the locals have benefited greatly. Of course, our annual revenue is $10 million, the highest in the region. However, our company aims to expand globally. Our policy is to increase dealings with more internationally minded companies rather than those limited to local business. Hearing this, something seemed to click for Daniel, and he suddenly said, "In that case, my daughter Maria is my secretary. She's very talented and has studied in America. It's the era of globalization, after all. Maria, come here." He called out towards the secretary's office next to the president's office. Soon, a tired-looking Johnson appeared. "Dad, what is it? I'm busy with my nails right now." "Come on, Maria, greet our guest. You're good at English, right? It's globalization time." "What's that? I only speak English. And what's globalization, a new artist?" Daniel's face turned pale at his daughter's response. Johnson was still looking at her nails and hadn't noticed me yet. "Maria, what are you saying? Why are you so flustered, Dad?" Ignoring her father's words, she finally noticed me and smirked. "Chris, what are you doing here? Are you here to ask my dad for a job because you're poor? We don't hire poor people, you know?" It seemed Johnson still hadn't realized her enormous misunderstanding. Daniel held his head in his hands. Ignoring this, I continued. "Thanks for yesterday. Today, I'm here to cancel our $10 million contract." "What? $10 million? What are you even doing here?" "I came here as a CO to inform you that we won't be signing the contract. Was that difficult to understand in English?" I said with a smile, and Johnson's face turned bright red. It seemed she understood that I was mocking her. "Dad, who is this guy? He's being so rude to me, the company secretary." "Oh, so Johnson is the secretary here. A company that hires someone like you as a secretary must be pretty low level. I'm even more glad we're not signing the contract." I spoke my mind calmly. No company that employs someone who doesn't even understand the term globalization has a future. I suspected that during her supposed studies abroad, she likely spent most of her time goofing off. "Don't be ridiculous. Are you trying to insult me? You poor loser, Dad. Kick him out now." "Maria, this gentleman is the president of Chris Corporation. Don't be rude." "Chris Corporation? What kind of no-name company is that?" Johnson continued to look down on me. But my next words brought her back to reality. "The nail polish you're wearing, the manicure products, even the clothes you're wearing, they were all designed and sold by my company." "Don't be ridiculous. I got this directly from France. It's not sold in the US." "Yes, we hired a French designer, and it's sold in France. You can check for yourself." Upon hearing this, Johnson quickly removed her gown and checked the tag. "TKD, could it be, Chris?" She couldn't fathom that the brand she loved was run by me, standing right in front of her. "Dad, is Chris Corporation really such a big company, bigger than ours? We couldn't reach their level no matter how hard we tried. Now, apologize immediately." Daniel quietly urged his daughter, trying to gauge my reaction. Even if she apologized, I had no intention of signing the contract. Last year's revenue was about $100 million if I recall. $100 million? That's impossible. It finally dawned on her that the person she looked down on as poor was far above her. This can't be real. He was so poor he couldn't even afford a pencil case. His mother was sick, and he didn't go to high school. How could someone like that start a brand in France and make $100 million a year? It's understandable that it would be hard to believe. However, after middle school, I joined a company that not only dealt in industrial products like screws and bolts, but also began handling fashion items at a new factory, which was the turning point. I was chosen as a member of the startup division, and I began studying and researching fashion, actively making proposals that hit the mark. Later, I decided I wanted to study fashion more seriously. So at 28, I quit my job and went to France alone for a language study program. While attending school, I learned about Western fashion, and after returning to the US, I started my own company. Without any backing. The early days of my business were tough, but by leveraging online sales and social media, I steadily gained customers, leading to my current success. The brand venture in France also succeeded thanks to the help of friends I made during my studies. In any case, please reconsider and sign the contract, I beg you. I decline now, if you'll excuse me. As I stood up to leave, Daniel clung to me, trying to stop me. Please wait, our company is on the edge. If you cancel the contract now, that's not my concern. I brushed Daniel off coldly, and Johnson sharply protested. How dare you? What are you doing to my dad? You're horrible. I return those words to you. You're the horrible one. Johnson was taken aback by my cold demeanor. Leaving the stunned father and daughter behind in the president's office, I left the company. A week later, I received a call on my personal phone from an unknown number. Hey, our company is about to go under. What did you do? The shrill voice belonged to Johnson. She must have forced one of our classmates to give her my number. I don't know what you're talking about. If anything, I should be asking you. Why do you think your company's downfall is my fault? Don't play dumb. You cancelled the $10 million contract, didn't you? It's obviously because of that. My dad has been running around trying to fix things ever since. It's our prerogative to either sign or cancel a contract. That's how business works. Johnson, unable to accept my explanation, continued to berate me. It's just $10 million. Just sign the contract. I'll apologize for what happened before and we'll call it even, okay? I refuse. I will never do business with your company again. That's final. Seeing no point in continuing the conversation, I decided to hang up. Then, I heard her shout loudly over the phone. Please wait. I'm really sorry. I realize I went too far. I was just drunk and got carried away. I'm truly so sorry. I could hear Johnson's tearful voice as she desperately apologized. But who gets fooled by the same trick twice? I heard you wanted to be an actress, Johnson. No wonder your acting is so good. What? Her exaggerated reactions and tearful performance were just like an actress on stage. After cancelling the contract, I asked a few local friends about her. It turns out that after graduating high school, she moved to New York to pursue acting and joined a talent agency, but her career never took off. Fortunately, her family's wealth allowed her to enjoy city life without financial worries. However, at 35, she was told to consider another path due to her age and was let go by the agency. Lost in life, she relied on her family's money again and went to America to study. Instead of studying, she spent her time partying. Eventually, her parents called her back and gave her a token position as a secretary, living under their supervision. At 45, to still be so ignorant and spoiled must be heartbreaking for her parents. Why would you say such things? I'm genuinely apologizing, Chris. You're so cruel. How long will you keep up this act? No matter how much you apologize, it won't save your company. Maybe you should help your dad instead of wasting time like this? As I calmly responded, I could feel Johnson's frustration building. Don't get cocky just because you became a CEO. $100 million in revenue is nothing. Your company is 1/10 that size though. Enough. You'll regret this. After her parting shot, She hung up the phone harshly. Johnson was probably fuming with anger right now. Feeling somewhat satisfied, I returned to my work. A few days later, I received a call from Tom, who shared some shocking news. "Chris, did you see the news? Johnson Industries is involved in accounting fraud. It's all over the TV." "Yeah, I'm watching it, so it finally came to light." Accounting fraud is when a company manipulates its financial statements to make its financial health look better than it is. Resorting to this means the company is on the brink of collapse. Tom seemed to sense something from my lack of surprise. "Did you report them?" "Of course not. Outsiders can't see the details of their financials. It must have been an internal whistleblower. Although it was someone inside Johnson Industries who blew the whistle, I was the one who encouraged it." Richard, who was an organizer at the reunion, worked for a subcontractor of Johnson Industries. Realizing this, I contacted him immediately and asked him to investigate Johnson Industries' fraud. This led to the discovery of the current situation. Richard, always the earnest class president, was deeply troubled by the revelation. He had endured many injustices for the sake of his livelihood, but he couldn't tolerate his main contractor's fraud. So he decided to blow the whistle with the help of a few colleagues. From there, it was straightforward. The fraud was quickly exposed, and Johnson Industries fell into crisis almost immediately. A while later, I received another call from Johnson. "What are we supposed to do now? Dad is with the police, and the media is swarming around our house. Mom and I can't even leave. It's all your fault. Your father committed fraud, which has nothing to do with me. This is his own doing. If you had signed the $10 million contract, none of this would have happened. What's your goal in ruining people's lives?" Johnson was nearly in tears by the end. This was probably not an act. "I'm sorry for everything, please. Do something to help us. I'm begging you." She sounded desperate, but I had no intention of forgiving her. "That's why I told you, regret always comes too late." She must have finally understood what I meant. I said only that and hung up, blocking her number. There was no need for any further involvement. I felt a slight sense of relief, having achieved my revenge after 30 years. Afterward, Daniel Johnson, the president of Johnson Industries, was arrested for fraud. It was revealed that he had committed accounting fraud to secure large loans from financial institutions. Johnson's mother, who was an executive, and other board members were also arrested as accomplices, leading to the company's bankruptcy. The collapse of the largest company in the area sent shockwaves through the community. Johnson, who had always behaved arrogantly by leveraging her father's power, received no sympathy and became a pariah, with no one to protect her and unable to repay the massive debts and compensation claims from creditors even after selling the house and company land. She was left with nothing. How a 45-year-old woman with no skills or experience would repay such debt was anyone's guess. She received no help and was shunned by everyone. For someone who had once been on top, these must be unbearable days. Eventually, she moved from her grand mansion to a cheap apartment with a rent of $350. To make ends meet, she started working part-time at a supermarket 5 stations away from her hometown, preparing deli foods. She worked in the back to avoid being recognized as the daughter of Johnson Industries. However, having never held a real job before, she quickly stumbled in her relationships and quit within a month. Now, she barely scrapes by with day labor and night jobs. I wondered if I would have gone this far had her apology at the cafe been genuine. Then I realized that everything was a result of her own actions. I cancelled the contract based on a business decision, unrelated to her personally. And the company's fraud was its own downfall. This incident deeply ingrained in me the belief that one's actions always come back to them. I hope she's now reflecting and trying to live a proper life. As for me, I took advantage of Johnson Industries' bankruptcy by buying the land and setting up a branch office there. employing former Johnson Industries workers. I am now extremely busy with the construction of the new branch and the establishment of a new department. About a month later, Tom called me again. We're planning to redo the reunion. This time, you have to come, Chris. Then let me cover the expenses this time. I was thinking of having Richard handle the organizing. Is that okay? That's fine, but were you and Richard that close? Actually, after that, Richard started working under me as the head of the accounting department. I admired his courage in whistleblowing on his own company out of a sense of justice, and wanted him to work for my company. Chris? No, I mean President. Thank you so much for taking someone like me in. Let's not talk like strangers. I'm counting on you as the organizer. Let's make it the best reunion ever. I shook hands firmly with Richard and returned to work. Looking forward to the upcoming reunion, I felt even more motivated in my work.